Hello and welcome to Pump the Brakes. I'm joined here by Josh Allen and Josh Allen in Patriots uniform because
Josh Allen, one of us. He now
one
has a
of
new
us.
favorite quarterback, just like us.
And that quarterback's name is Drake May. Welcome back everyone. Dave, good to see you.
To you as well. Big game this week. Division
Big
championship game for all intents and purposes. So
hats and
excited
hats
for
and
it.
t-shirts, baby. Hats and t-shirts,
It's what you live
championship.
for. Divisional championship game. Right back at it.
Exactly. All right. So we're gonna preview the Bills, and then we had a bye week, so we don't really have a game review. So we're just gonna talk about what's going on in the league. This
Sounds good to
league.
me.
All right, without further ado, Dave, tell me how badly we're gonna beat the Bills. 3 scores, 4 scores, 5 scores. Talk to
I'm going to
me.
tell you to pump the brakes a little bit. I think this is the kind of game, at least prospectively, when looking at it on paper, is decided by a mistake or two. The Bills, they're better now than they were the last time you faced them, and you won by 3 points at the end of the game. I don't think you can rely on things like turnover luck or penalties. Those are not sort of game plans, those are outcomes. And if they happen, great. And they did happen in that first game. But the margin, I think, is pretty thin. To me, the matchup of this game between units is the Bills offense against the Patriots defense. I don't know if you would agree with that.
I would agree with that, and I think the biggest difference here is not having Milton Williams, right? It's last time we stuffed their run, we made Josh Allen have to pass the ball, and we have a decent secondary.
Yes, I agree. And to me, like, well, Josh Allen is clearly the heart and soul of that team and that offense, and everything's on his shoulders to really move them forward. When that offense is really humming, when it's at its best, it's when the run game is rolling. The run game allows them to stay on schedule. It allows them to control the clock. It takes pressure off Josh Allen. And I don't know if you remember what I said after the Bills lost to you and then to the Falcons heading into their bye week, what they needed to do. But what they needed to do was get back to running the football effectively. And I
And
think
what did
they've
they
done
do?
that. Yes. Overall, I think they have. And they're a better run team than when they faced you last. And you're a worse run defense. As you pointed out, your best defensive player, never mind your best run defensive player, Milton Williams, in that previous game, is not going to be suited up for this game. So there's a difference there. I really think you have to contain Cook both in the run and in the pass as a dump off option, because if you stop the run, which to me this is the key to the game, stopping the run, because then you contain Allen. And to your point, you force him to make things happen from the pocket. And that's where mistakes happen. And if this game is going to be decided by a mistake or two, you want it to be Josh Allen forcing balls into tight windows, tipped passes, interceptions going the other way. That could be the difference in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree completely. Luckily, we don't make mistakes. Drake May doesn't make mistakes. Drake May doesn't make mistakes. I mean, except when he does.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, this Bills defense kind of blows, in my opinion. And so if you do limit turnovers on offense, I do think you should be able to win this game. But you have to also be able to run the football. We
I was about
say
to
it
say,
every week.
I think it's going to be our run, right? Like, can the Patriots run the ball?
It's the area, I think it's the biggest area where you can take advantage of them. They're a bottom five run defense in the league. They're also the 25th ranked defense by EPA per play on third down. You have the sixth best offense by that same metric on third down. So third downs and running the ball to me are key on offense. On the flip side, for their offense, passing the ball, the tight ends are what scare me the most. Kincaid is sort of his safety blanket when he's out there. They got Knox going in the last game, and we've noted that you sort of have trouble in the middle of the field in pass coverage. And so I'd watch
Yeah.
out for that as well.
What I'm also worried about is whether or not this is the first time that Drake May has played a team for the second time. And I'm curious to see how the Bills approach this game differently. They play a decent amount of zone,
They play a
but they
ton of
can
zone.
they
They
play a
are
ton of
kind of a
zone.
zone team, and they're sort of a do what we do kind of defense as far as I know it. And so I don't know if there are going to be any unique wrinkles on the grand scheme. There may be some little things here and there. There may be some movement of players pre and post snap. I don't know if they are the type of defense that can give you a diverse set of looks to really challenge you. They do play a decent amount of, it's their second most played coverage is coverage one, but they cover one, but they're cover three team most of the time.
Can cover one being is more of like a man
Cover one is man.
look.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean they could switch up some coverages on Drake May. They're going to have to, right? If they want to confuse. I think the biggest way to confuse this quarterback or to beat this quarterback as inexperienced as he is to confuse him. And the best way to try to confuse him is to change looks pre and post snap, to change looks between downs. I think that gives quarterbacks a hard time, even if they're longtime veterans. And so that's something that they should be doing, but they do rely very heavily on cover three as their sort of base defense. That's dangerous with Drake May. I mean, you play zone against, to me, you playing zone against Drake May is sort of allowing him to do what he wants and that offense to do what they want to do by picking you apart in open spaces. I think they've got really good zone hunting wide receivers. I'd rather play man against their pass catchers because I think they don't separate all that well, particularly. But if I were them, I would be mixing coverages for sure.
Okay, makes sense. 'Cause I was gonna say, let's
I
talk
wanted to
about
think
the
about like how did the Bills lose their three non-Patriot losses this year, right?
hmm,
They lost to Atlanta, they lost to Miami, they lost to Houston. And it's a combination of things. The other team running the ball on offense, which Atlanta and Miami were able to do. Containing Allen, which Miami and Houston were able to do, limiting his rushing ability, breaking open, or extending bad plays with his feet, and then getting constant pressure. All three teams were able to do that. Miami had a top 10 pressure rate that week they played the Bills. Houston had 8 sacks against Buffalo. Atlanta had 4 sacks against Buffalo. But these are all things that the Patriots don't necessarily do well, running the ball,
yeah,
containing, getting pressure with four and consistently. And so that's something to watch. I mean, I think it's something the Patriots are going to have to get some pressure here without blitzing in this game to make Josh Allen uncomfortable because there's a meltdown factor with this Bills team. I mean, when they went down 21-7 to the Falcons, the game was over from there. They went down 16-0 to Miami. They didn't come back. When things go poorly, I think it's a team. They came back.
that's
Well, yeah, but they didn't lose that game.
right. But they did go down and then came back.
Yeah, but there is not every time they go down do they melt down, but sometimes when they do go down, they melt down. And the fact that that factor exists is a weakness. Not every team that loses games melts down and loses games. I think
It's
their losses are bad losses.
true. Yeah, they do make it look really painful, right? There's not like there haven't been any really close Bills losses except for the Pats to the Pats.
Yeah, there's a difference between you just came up one possession short in a back and forth game and a game where you're down 21-7 and you're never back in it. Like that's a meltdown loss. And I
Yeah.
think there is at least that element that you could trigger that in them. If you get up early, they could quit in this game. You know, you can't play like they're going to quit, but there maybe is a little bit of that factor to them.
Yeah, but it does seem like. But my thoughts on the game is I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be who can score more points. I think definitely hammer the over on this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's a shootout. I mean, their offense is slightly better than yours. It's more complete, I would say. If you want to look at EPA per play as a total offense, they're fourth, you're seventh. In the pass, you're second, they're fifth. In the run, they're first, you're 25th. So there's a big gap in the run game. But,
Yeah,
I think so for you to take advantage of their defense, which is, I think, the weakest of the four units, offenses and defenses between the two teams, that's the most exploitable matchup. And on paper, where this game hinges on a mistake or two, that's what has to be taken advantage of. You got to take advantage of their defense.
yeah.
But this is it. This is what as a team, this is what you're waiting for. Their goal all along has been win the division. It's in your hands now. And so this is
We win this
good of an
game, it's ours.
opportunity. It's over. Yeah.
What a way! And I mean, what it's exactly the team you want to do it against. You want it's at home. I mean, listen, if this Patriots season has been an absolute storybook, it's been a it's been a movie in the making. They win this game, or
Be
this is going
quite
to
a
be,
moment.
yeah. Or is it going to be the second act struggle where we lose the game and then we have to work our way back and then we see them again in the Super Bowl somehow because they switched to the NFC? It's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean you can still win the division if you lose this game. The one seed gets much tougher though
Yeah.
if you don't win this game because then you're relying on Denver to lose two as
Ooh,
opposed to
which
one,
Denver
and that's
just
tough.
kind of seems to hate losing games.
And they have a bit of a, I mean, I guess this is a natural transition into the rest of the league, but they have a really tough final four games, so I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if they lost a game or two, but you don't want to have to bank on it. It's too fine of a margin.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if there's any other team that has a horseshoe stuck up their ass, it's Denver. So let's talk about the AFC. Let's talk about the cream of the crop, the top tier of the AFC. Huh. The Chiefs aren't on my list. That's weird. It's Denver, right? I think for me, that's my top three in no particular order are Denver, the Texans, and the Pats.
Do you want to do power rankings or do you want to do teams you want to avoid the most? We could do both. We can start with power rankings if you
Let's
like.
start with power rankings. Okay, so
All
let's
right.
do,
A
yeah,
top five. I'll give you my
top
top
five.
five AFC teams. I have the Patriots number one. I think they're the best offense in the AFC. I think their defense is good enough. I like Denver's defense is great. I don't trust the offense. Just I don't buy into it. I think they don't run the ball enough for the kind of quarterback they have. They've survived it so far, but
Yeah.
they're a little too Bo Nix centric for what I think of that quarterback and his ability to carry a team. If they can get the run going in this last month or so, then I would fear them more, but they're not really a control the clock with the run kind of team. And so the combination of that with a quarterback who doesn't necessarily elevate you, I'm a little skeptical of. So I have the Patriots over the Broncos, but I have Broncos number two.
Okay, this is where we differ because I have the Texans number two. I am absolutely terrified of the Texans. I think
In the
they've been putting it together the last few weeks. I think the Texans we saw in the first half of the season are not the Texans that we've seen in the second half. They're 6-1. CJ Stroud is back. They seem to have figured out how to block. They have great receivers. They have I mean, an absolutely horrifying defense. Like that's without a question, right? So their defense already scares me alone, but I think having CJ Stroud back, they do seem to be putting it together on offense. I that they are the team that I do not want to face in the playoffs, and I consider them the second best team in the AFC. Third would be
I love that take, and I'll circle back to why I love that take later. But yeah, I don't disagree with you because I've been on this Texans team for weeks now that they play an aggressive, angry, mean style of defense, and I think it even separates them from Denver's defense a little bit. So who's your Patriots are one, Texans are
yeah,
two, or Broncos are one?
Broncos are three.
Okay, Broncos are
Patriots are
three.
one. Yeah, I think the Pats are the best team in the AFC. I think they're the most balanced team. I think they have the best, right, as you said, best offense, elite quarterback. And again, this team is going to ride or die, rise or fall, depending on how much that defense can keep, can stay afloat. But offense wins championships, as no one says, but should be saying, because if you look at the last 15 years of this league,
Yeah, no, I'm not. No disagreement here. So Denver's your number three.
yeah, just but Bo Nix is not CJ Stroud, and then for me, their defenses are equal.
Yeah, my number three team is the Bills because I think there's a chance here they beat you, and then that changes things. That's number one. Number two, they probably have the best quarterback in the game right now. I value that. It makes up for a lot of deficiencies, and they're balanced offensively. They can run the ball.
I just think their defense is horrible,
It's
and it's just
suspect. It's absolutely suspect. But I do sort of trust that offense to pull them out of a lot of it if they get they do get turnovers, which is helpful. So, you combine that with the offensive firepower and the quarterback. I have them third. I just think that they're in a class offensively with you that's separate from everybody else in the AFC. And so it's very close in the one, two, three, and maybe four, in my opinion. But one, two, three is very close, and I have them third. Fourth would be
yeah.
the Texans for me, just because I'm not
But how
totally
do you
sold on that
but
offense.
how do you rank the team that like they beat the daylights out of the Bills? How do you put them below the Bills?
Because it's in a vacuum. It's not head to head.
Yeah.
It's against, I guess, to me, when you're power ranking the league, you're sort of putting them up against Team X, right? It's a sort of same standard idea of a like average team. Who do I rank higher? I just think in a playoff game against Team X, give me the Bills because
Yeah.
I don't the Texans are relying on a lot of young and experienced players on offense. They got a rookie left tackle. They've got a rookie running back. They've got a rookie wide receiver opposite of Nico Collins. Stroud's playing better, but he's still sort of feeling out this new offense. You got a first-year offensive coordinator in Nick
Yeah.
Caley.
Yeah, the coaching is definitely weaker on the Texans side.
So the offense is a little suspect to me. Again, all the respect. I think that Texans defensive unit is the best single unit in the AFC, and that's why they're fourth for me, is
Yeah.
because that defense is so good. It's like It's almost the defensive equivalent of the Patriots offense, and that if it wasn't so good, I wouldn't have them ranked as high
They wouldn't be a top 10 team.
based on completeness of the roster. Yeah. So
Right.
Texans 4 for me, and I'll just finish out my top 5 with the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars have a very good defense. They're playing good football right now. They're sort of in the driver's seat of that division. They have a tough finish to that schedule as well. Texans are involved there, remains to be seen. But as of right now, quarterback's a bit of a question mark, but new coach seems to be getting the offense going here, and the defense is flying high right now. So I have Jags 5.
Okay, so what is it? Can you recap it for me?
So it's Patriots 1, Broncos 2, Bills 3, Texans 4, Jags 5.
Okay, so then I would have the Bills at 4. I don't know if I are the I guess I'm not sure if I would put the I guess who else could I put
It would be Jags,
5?
it would be Chargers, it would be Colts. You could put the
Uh,
Chiefs up there while they're still breathing. Anyone from the AFC North who doesn't want to win a division.
I
And
guess the
Miami. I think that's
I
that's kind of
feel
all you have.
I feel like I'd probably put the Chargers over the Jags.
I think it's
I guess
fair. I
the
think it's
Char
close.
I guess the Chargers, if they were healthy, I'd put over the Jags, but I think they've been decimated by injuries.
Yeah, I'm just also like never, I don't know if I ever come away from a Chargers game being like, wow, I'm impressed by that team. You know, like, oh wow, that was a game they shouldn't have won and they look good doing it. It just it's maybe it's a bias. It's like it's just a thing that's in the back of my mind from years, but they just are quintessential team that's just like I'm never really impressed by what they do. And
I
so
mean, they are
the record's good.
they have a good record. I mean, they have a great quarterback, but I guess we've never really seen him do anything, right?
Yeah, he's a guy he's got all the talent in the world, and you're waiting for him to take that next step. And so, which is an open question. I mean, if there's questions on him, there's certainly questions on Drake May, but I've never seen Justin Herbert have someone could prove me wrong with statistics, but have a 10 game stretch like I've seen out of Drake May right now, out of Justin Herbert either.
That's a good point. Who would you? I mean, who would you rank if you had to do top 5 QBs in the AFC? How would you rank them?
Top 5 QBs in the AFC. This is off the top of my head. I would go Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, May,
Yeah,
and then probably Herbert.
I'd probably put Lamar Jackson over Herbert, but then I'd
Yeah,
go
that
Herbert
one's
6th.
that one's close. The problem, and I've been a bit of a Lamar apologist at times over the past few years, but the sample size in the postseason
Oof.
is getting large enough to where I'm starting to consider that like maybe he just isn't that guy between the tackles in big games.
Whoa,
And so, and
whoa.
you have to be able to do it in between the tackles, throwing the football on third downs in the postseason and not have to. I mean, he's had a lot of bad luck around him. Mark Andrews, dropping that ball, but there are also turnovers. There's turnovers all the time with him in the playoffs. The
Yeah, it's
durability is a
true.
thing too. Like that it was a thing that scared me about Jaden Daniels coming out of college is these sort of sinewy run first quarterbacks. It's a beating, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And you see it all the time with Jackson. I know the numbers when he's healthy are through the roof, but then there's all the time he's not healthy and misses large stretches of the season where you're starting, Snoop Huntley and guys like that for the
True. I mean,
Ravens.
we're seeing it with Daniels this year as well. Like he's a yeah. Okay, that's our top 5 AFC. All right, but let's talk about who we don't want to face in the playoffs.
Yeah, playoff avoidance power rankings.
Playoff avoided. I love it.
So you've already said Houston's the number one team you don't want
Houston's
to play,
number
right?
one. I don't want that. I don't want that defense anywhere near Drake May. I don't want that defensive 4 in front of anywhere near Drake May.
I have Buffalo number one. And I know, I sound like a quarterbackist, but I'm really not. But the calculus to me is I don't want to play a team a third time. I hate it. I know the numbers aren't that bad for teams who are 2-0 playing a team a third time in the postseason. They win something around close to 60% of the time, but I don't want it. It's too familiar. And when you combine that familiarity with playing the best quarterback in the AFC playoffs, I just don't want to have to do it. Like if I have to avoid one team, it's the team that's most familiar with me who also happens to have the best quarterback of the field. So I don't want to play the Bills. I don't want to play anyone a third time. I know in 2010 they didn't win both games, but I'm forever scarred by the Patriots beating the Jets in December 45-3, and then losing to them in the division round 28-21 after going 14-2. So I don't want to play a divisional opponent in the postseason, especially when they have that kind of quarterback. So Bills number one for me.
I think, yeah, Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, that hurt me physically to hear.
And if they beat you all the more this weekend, all the more reason why I don't want to see them again, because they found something that that they took advantage of, or you made some critical mistakes against them that they could induce again. So that's why they scare me.
All right. So it goes, okay. So the Bills then, all right. So my number two, okay. I was going to say Broncos.
Hmm.
Is I, that defense, man. I just don't want to see Drake May get hurt. I don't want to see Drake May get pummeled. I don't want to see a game where his perfect face becomes a little less perfect. Like, I don't, like, I, that said, am I scared of Bo Nix? I'm scared of fourth quarter Bo Nix. I'm scared of Sean Payton. I think they're a more complete team than Buffalo. I think their record reflects that. I think they play. Listen, they win close games, and I think winning close games, sure, like you can look at their point differential and you can say they're not, whatever, their DVOA might not be as high as Buffalo's, but listen, a win's a win in this league. And like you said earlier, Buffalo loses games. They let, they get,
They
what was
come
the
out
word
and have
you?
stinkers. They come out and they have these sort of letdown games where they just
Yeah.
will melt down. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas the Broncos pull it out, and I think that maybe that's a coaching thing, maybe it's just a luck thing, but at the end of the day, the Broncos, for me, are the second ranked team that I don't want to see in the playoffs. When I consider what you said about not wanting to play a team a third time, maybe the Bills edge them out, but Bills Broncos are my 2 and 3. Broncos Bills.
So my 2 and 3 is really sort of dependent on where the game's played.
Mm.
Asterisk on Broncos number two, specifically if you have to go to Denver.
Ooh, true.
Reasons you said I agree with completely. They're a more complete team than probably anybody else that you would face in the postseason. They're just more. I've said what I said about Bo Nix, but they're still more well-rounded as
Yeah,
an entire team on paper than the rest. They have won close games, as you said. They're battle-tested in that sense, and I think those situational wins matter a lot. It doesn't necessarily matter who the team is, the situation, and that you came out on the right end of it. Similar to some of the things the Patriots have been through. It doesn't matter to me the team they faced as much as this was the situation and they overcame it, and that's a notch in the belt in case that situation comes up. They're a situationally good football team. Great defense, on par with
great
anybody else
defense.
in the league. A strength on strength matchup against the Patriots offense. Always frightening to have your strength blunted by their strength. Mile High it's one of the few home field advantages that exist in the NFL. A lot of teams have bad records going there. I don't know if it's the elevation, the crowd noise, whatever, but it's a place I wouldn't want to go. If the Patriots are the number one seed, though, my number three team, which is the Houston Texans, would be my number two team because I agree with you. There is that the violent aggression that we talked about being so wonderful to see from the Patriots last week. Houston plays with that every single game, every single down, at all three levels. They have guys who will take your head off. And what separates them, when I watched them play Buffalo and they were beating the shit out of Josh Allen, all I could think about was, oh man, Drake May can't take hits like Josh
No,
Allen can take
exactly.
under those
Yeah,
circumstances. All I could think of was his head bouncing off the turf, and being out with a concussion or something. They play violently. I have so much respect for it. Will Anderson Jr. is one of my favorite players in the entire league on the edge for them. And the difference between their defense and Denver's for me is they don't blitz as much. And against Drake May, if you can get pressure without committing pass defenders to the rush, then you have a better chance of defending the Patriots offense. And so that scares me just a notch more about the Texans than the Broncos is they blitz at a lower rate, but they generate pressure and sacks at a similar rate. And so I think it's a worse matchup for a quarterback like May, who's very successful against the blitz. So it's Broncos and Texans 2 and 3, but I think it depends on if you're going to Denver or not.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about playoff scenarios and what we're, reading
Yeah.
guide for Pats fans after this.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
my number four team is controversial because they may not be breathing after this week, but for similar reasons to Buffalo in terms of the quarterback, the Chiefs. I mean, They're deep.
I don't wanna see the Chiefs in the
They're not
playoffs.
going to make it. I don't think they're going to make it. They'd have to run the table and get some help. I don't think it's going to happen. And I do think their offense is broken for a couple of reasons. Their defense is fine. Their defense is talented. It got good players at all levels. I like their defense. I don't have a lot of problems with it. I don't think the quarterback is a problem there either. He played maybe the worst game of his career last week. I'll give the naysayers that. He was not good. But I don't think he's been the biggest problem. I think there's been some uninspiring play calling, which is rooted in the fact that they have a lot of issues on the offensive line. They drafted a rookie left tackle who has been very good when he's been available, but he's been gone for nearly half the season, whether it's personal reasons or now he's on the injured reserve list. They've had their right tackle and their right guard. Their right guard's one of the highest paid guards in the league, in and out with injury. They have drafted kind of poorly. Xavier Worthy has not given them much. He and Hollywood Brown are kind of one-trick ponies on the outside.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice is not very reliable. He drops a lot of passes. He got suspended. And the husk of Travis Kelce is not what he was. He's not the safety blanket that Mahomes is used to. So I think
Dropping passes he never would have dropped.
he just there's no gas left in the tank with that guy. He's not the same player at all. And if he's dropping passes on top of it, he's kind of useless. And so when you're left just like drawing up shots for Tyquan Thornton, who can barely run routes, they're relying on Mahomes to just make shot plays and shot plays. And he hasn't been sharp either on top of that as things have progressed. And so, but he's been there, he's done that. If they go on a run that gets them in the playoffs, you should fear the fact that they're hot. They're white hot. So if they make it, that's another reason why I wouldn't want to see them, is they'd have to be hot to get there. So yeah, the Chiefs would be the fourth team for me. The rest, it's a drop off, and you can sort of, put them as you may. I would go Jaguars, Chargers, and then whoever wins the AFC North. But I think you should beat any of those teams if you face them.
For me, my number 4, 5, I think you're right. I mean, I think those are the teams that you don't want to face.
There's really
Trying
three. I mean, if you don't count the Chiefs, it's,
3,
it's
yeah.
really three teams that I think are tough matchups for the Patriots. Everybody else, I think they're
Beatable.
the underdog. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So let's talk about how the road to Gillette runs right now through Denver, right? We need Denver to lose to two. I think they need to lose at least one game.
If the Patriots run the table, the Broncos need to lose a game.
It'd be crazy if we ran the table. It'd be crazy if this ended 15-2.
I mean, it's certainly doable if you get through this week with a win. Baltimore's looked really bad lately. Who knows if Lamar will play in that game? From week to week, you just don't know this year if he's going to be available. The
True.
Jets have gotten worse, I think, since you've seen them last. They started an undrafted rookie last week, or not. I don't know if they started him or if Tyrod came out. I can't remember, but Cook, quarterback out of Missouri, was undrafted, played for them last week. They signed a street free agent as a backup to dress this weekend. So the Dolphins, I've maintained all along, are a tricky game to end the season with. They've been playing with pride ever since they had a terrible record to start. They've won quite a few games this last stretch of the season. They played
We should still
close,
be.
but you should still beat them. They're still not a very good football team. So I think you can run the table. The Broncos, in the meantime, luckily for them, most of the games are at home. Packers at home, Jaguars at home. Then they go to Arrowhead and they finish at home against the Chargers. So
That's a
they could
tough slate. That's a tough slate.
absolutely lose one or two games, but if you lose this Bills game, then you need them to lose two and you run the table. And that you can't really count on, in my opinion.
I think you're right. So yeah, I mean, listen, ideally we get home field advantage, and then God, that would be incredible. Can you imagine getting the fucking 1 seed, dude? Oh man, all the brakes are gone at that point.
Yeah,
There's
I mean,
no
the ones
stopping this.
I said it before on this podcast, the 1 seed, it's just obvious. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. The 1 seed is so important to any team by virtue of not having to play a whole game and then having everything else at home. But that one, especially with the Patriots, with their roster as thin as it is, at the top and depth wise, to have to play one less game where your season could be ended. Massive. Like you can't make up for it any other way. So if you want to win the Super Bowl, I really think the road has to go through Foxborough, has to go through the 1 seed. Not to say you can't get there if you don't. Like, could you win on the road in Denver? I think you could. I don't think it's a slam dunk for Denver, but
No, I mean, I think we can beat. I think we can beat any team. Any team in the AFC we can beat.
Patriots are undefeated on the road, so the road itself doesn't scare me. It's going on the road with the way you play in a tough place against a good defense. The deep ball passing game, not something that traditionally travels in the postseason play, like defense and running.
True. I'm getting nervous, man. I don't want to play any of these teams. I just want to go to the Super Bowl and then where we will face the best of the NFC.
Mm,
Now
tough.
that's a buzzsaw of a conference. I mean, my God, am I glad we don't play in the NFC. Jesus Christ. I think their top five are still better than any team in the
Yeah, I mean, certainly the
Rams, Packers, Niners, Seahawks. The NFC West by itself is insanity.
Yeah, I think the AFC is top heavy. Like we talked about Patriots, Broncos, Bills. You can throw the Texans in there if you want to. After that, it's pretty muddled. The NFC, the strength to me of that conference is like 3 through 9 or whatever. I don't know where you could extend it to, but like say 3 through 9 are all really good football teams in the NFC. I mean, if your eighth team or whatever is the Philadelphia Eagles,
That's
seventh or
crazy.
eighth team, it's a good conference. And so yeah, I mean, I'd have three of the NFC West teams in my top five in the NFC.
Yeah. All right. So what are the top teams that you don't want to face in the Super Bowl?
Jeez, I honestly haven't thought that far ahead. One, because win the division. Two,
Yeah.
because win the conference. Three, because if you make it to the Super Bowl, dude, I mean, you're just pouring gravy on. Of course, you don't want to leave that opportunity on the table for posterity's sake. It's going to be a missed opportunity no matter what happens following it. But the idea that you got there is so beyond the pale of what you any of us could have thought could happen this season. I haven't given it serious. I mean, I don't want to play the Rams. The Rams, to me, are the best team in football. I know they had a bad game against the Panthers. It happens to everybody. It could happen to the Patriots. Like the Dolphins could be that example. Everyone's going to have a bad game here or there. That was theirs. I still think they're probably the most complete team in football. They don't have the greatest defense, but they have a very good defense, and their offense is high flying. So the
How
Rams
is their defense so good again? Like, are they just? Is it the draft? Are they just amazing in drafting?
I think they might be the best drafting team in the league, as evidenced by the fact that they went so long without top picks in the draft. F them picks famously is what
Yeah.
the GM said, trading a bunch of first rounders during that championship window to try
Wild.
to get guys like Jalen Ramsey in there, Von Miller. And so they maximized that window by using draft picks, and then at the same time they survived a lot of dead cap hits. For a long time we heard in New England, well, you can't spend on this and that because at some point the bill comes due, and if the bill comes due, you're going to suck because you're not going to be able to fill the roster. Well, the Rams did it. The Rams won 7, 8 games for a couple of years after that Super Bowl win, where they were just eating dead money from some of those contracts of the veterans they brought in, and they still maintained competitiveness. The Buccaneers, similarly, after Brady left, had to eat all this dead money from them going all in on those couple of years. They still remained competitive. Why? Because they drafted well when they had to replace those guys that they were still paying not to be there. And so when you combine the fact that your best players are counting on against your books in dead cap money, or some of them, if it's the Rams, and you're not drafting at the top of the draft, but you're still filling out this roster with talent. Yeah, it's the drafting. And that's where I think Kansas City is really struggling on the offensive side of the ball right now, is in the drafting. Like they haven't drafted particularly well, especially in sort of the offensive weapons. They don't run the ball well. They don't have receivers that are dependable. And so this is where it gets tough. This is what Buffalo is going to be facing, is like reloading with the quarterback who's being paid at the top of the market, where you can't just go out and have a Patriots style free agency like this year. You have to draft and develop once you pay the quarterback. And that's what the Rams have done.
I
Long
hear.
way of getting back there.
Yeah. No, they're just a very good team. All right. Some more lighthearted news. The Colts.
Cute
Oh,
story.
first, what a start to their season. What a great
Yeah.
eight game run. Fantastic. Looks
Hang
fantastic.
the banner. First half of the year champions, 2025 Indianapolis Colts.
It's crazy how immediately the wheels fell off after they made the Sauce Gardner trade. I mean, first he goes out. Danny Dimes gets injured, then turns into, Daniel Jones. Then he gets injured. And now we're trotting out the father of 11, a grandfather is going to be playing at the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts.
I mean, it's like a cute story, like I'm happy for Philip Rivers, like it's fun, it's
Everyone's happy
something
for Philip Rivers except for
something to
Cam
talk
Newton.
about. Yeah, it's just well, yeah, yeah.
They
It's just
didn't
kind of
want they didn't
pathetic.
want a grandma, they wanted a grandpa.
Leave your hats at home, Cam. It's just kind of pathetic. I mean, that's where your franchise is at, that you lose Daniel Jones and you lose Daniel Jones in the like first of all, it's not like you lost Tom Brady and you're like, how do we salvage the season? You lost Daniel Jones, okay, first of all. And the best option you can come up with is getting a guy who's been retired for 5 years to come back and play quarterback.
It's wild.
It's something else, man. It's pretty bad. And yeah, the way they fell off. I mean, I think you really started to see it. You saw it with the Pittsburgh game, but it really, to me, was apparent in that Chiefs game where, like, late in the game, Jones was just he wasn't getting it done. It was wildly incomplete, flustered by pressure, and then it continued into the Texans
They
game. He
said
got
he
hurt.
was injured before. He was playing on an injured leg or something.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not, but the outcome is still the outcome, and they started to dip for one reason or another, and I don't have a lot of faith. Like, hey, listen, there's going to be a lot of fools if Philip Rivers comes in and gets them to the playoffs, and they can regain sort of their status, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get them back where they were getting really efficient quarterback play to start the season. It wasn't the flashiest, but it was incredibly efficient, which allowed them to run the ball, which is the core of their team.
Yeah. Well,
I don't buy
rip.
it, but it's a cute
Do you
story.
think do you think they'll even make the playoffs? They have a buzzsaw
I wouldn't
of
be
a
shocked if they
schedule.
lost every single game they have left. I mean, they
Wild.
have Seattle,
Yep.
right? They have Seattle, San Francisco,
The
Jacksonville,
Texans.
and Houston. I don't know, man. That's two of those teams. They might be the two of the three best defenses in the league between Seattle and Houston. So good luck, Phil. I mean, I don't know
It would be such
what's
a
going to
cool
happen
story.
the first time he gets cracked, man. I mean, he hasn't been hit in 5 years, and I don't know that he's in good shape either. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
That's this league. What a wild season. I mean, imagine saying in the beginning of this year that the Ravens, the Chiefs,
And Joe Burrow,
and Joe Burrow and the Bengals just wouldn't even be part of the playoff, wouldn't be part of our power ranking, wouldn't be part of our playoff conversation. The Ravens got an honorable mention as a team we should beat.
yeah. I mean, I think if you're doing Pump the Brakes, a Bills podcast right now, you're saying this is must win right now.
This is your year.
If you're the Bills, yeah, who would ever fathom that all of the guys you can't get past
Yeah.
or
No.
would conceivably stand in your way are gone? And so this
Oh,
is
how
their moment.
delicious. How delicious for it to be the Patriots to ruin that for them.
Yeah, as much as this game feels like a playoff game and high stakes and anxiety inducing for us, imagine it on the flip side for a team that's back is really up against the wall, a coach whose back is probably up against the wall here. Um, this is their best shot at winning a Super Bowl since they had a legitimate this is to me it's not a legitimate Super Bowl roster most years that the Bills have. The best chance I thought they had of winning a Super Bowl was the year they lost that shootout to Kansas City, the 13-second game, where Kansas City ultimately went and lost to Cincinnati. That should have been Buffalo that year
Losing
going
to
to the Super
Cincinnati.
Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were loaded in a way they're not loaded right now,
No,
and
no,
they're
they had
in.
a monster. They had prime digs. Defense was better, way better.
Yeah,
I mean,
they had
just it was a monster
both
team.
longtime safeties they had there. It was Tre'Davious White at corner before all the injuries. Like they were a much better club in
They were
21 than they
younger.
are now.
Yeah.
They have firmed up their core for the future, but is it going to be enough is going to be a question. You have
I
your
mean, we're finding
Kincaid, your
out this
Cook.
year that so far it's no. So far it has not been enough. Right? You're
Yeah,
second in
I mean,
the.
I'm trying not to tempt the fates too hard with what's coming up on Sunday, but yeah,
Ooh,
it hasn't been great.
it's gonna be quite the game. That's the one they should have flexed, not this dog shit fucking Ravens game.
Yeah, that was interesting. I guess I don't know if it was a solid to CBS because the first Bills Pats game was Sunday Night Football already.
I think CBS literally has. I think
I
it's
read
part
that
of the
they didn't
terms.
Right, I read that they didn't block it. Like they're allowed to like all I know the networks are allowed to protect certain games. It wasn't explicitly protected, but I would imagine it was sort of a
I
fairness and
think it's.
balance thing.
I think it's CBS has like CBS. I think has to air at least one divisional game.
Mm.
One of the two
That
they
could
would
be
have
it.
to air, and I think this is like they can't move it because the other one wasn't on CBS.
That makes a lot of sense. And then
Yeah,
I mean, the Ravens
it should be a
shitty
good
Ravens
game.
game, but like the Ravens are a
Listen,
game out of the playoffs.
yeah,
And the alternative was they had Bengals Dolphins. And like, does anybody want to watch Bengals Dolphins or do they want to watch the potential number one seed in MVP against Lamar Jackson one game out of the playoffs? I think
yeah.
it makes sense why they did flex it within that week at least.
I'm just getting nervous for Sunday morning, man. Like it's gonna be just this. The Sunday scaries are starting on Saturday this year. This week.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it. This is what you live for as
Yeah,
a football fan. It's as high a stakes game as you can pretty much get in the regular season without an actual must win
yeah, pretty much.
situation. So and all the glory too. Like no, sometimes you're in a must win game where there's not a ton of glory at the other end. It's just survival. There's a lot of glory at the other end of this game for the
Okay.
Patriots. So
Listen, we'll see. I'll see him in Valhalla.
we've got this, brother. See you involved. Your watch is ended.
All right. On that note,
Go Pats.
go